Alright folks, I got a little message for you and a little story. Today I was at work and there was this guy that a lady had told me about. I work at the bus station and security guard out there, and we have to do certain stuff like you can't have homeless people sleeping in the bathroom, stuff like that, because of business. You know, I hate that part of my job. I hate asking people to leave. I don't like seeming like, top flight security asshole, like I can do anything I want, but, that's how I feed my kids, this is how I feed, me, and so I have to do my job. Anyway, long story short, there was this guy that a lady had told me about that he kept sleeping in the bathroom because he said that he had a ticket, something about Houston, things like that. So I went to the bathroom. She told me I had to make him leave. She's my boss. I have to do what she says. So I went in the bathroom, and there was this guy in the stall. I knocked on the stall, asked him to see a ticket. He told me that he didn't have a ticket, that his son was supposed to buy him a ticket, that he was stuck there, that he'd only made it this far. Just certain things that happened in his life that had put him down. I still had to ask him to leave. He's upset. He has nowhere to go, doesn't know what to do, supposedly got the shit end of the deal. So, anyway, I had to make him leave, and he kind of got mouthy for a second. Not really mouthy, but trying to explain, a situation. But, I still had to make him leave. It doesn't matter what happens or what a situation is. He doesn't have a ticket. I had to make him leave. So it really bothered me because I don't like having to do that. I don't like, my job. Sometimes I have to be somebody I'm not because I wanted to help him figure out, what was going on, his story, things like that. Anyway, so I had to make him leave. He ended up leaving. A couple hours later, I got off at midnight. So I get off at midnight, and I thought to myself, man, sounds good to have a beer. I hadn't had a beer in a while, so, I figured I'd go down to that Tootin' Totem on 10th Street, go ahead and get me a beer before it turned midnight. Had a couple minutes, and never really go to that Tootin' Totem. And, wouldn't have went there, that late, stuff like that. I'd have went to a different one. But, ended up going to that Tootin' Totem. And when I pulled up, I seen that guy sitting right there by the ice machine. He looked at me. I looked at him. We made eye contact. I didn't say anything. I figured he was still upset at me. I just felt awkward. I didn't know what to say. So I go inside, buy me a beer, stuff like that. I come back out, get in my truck. When I'm getting my truck, I'm sitting there. I go to start the truck, start it, and I go to back up. And man, I just have this this urge. God is talking to me, and talking to me. He's telling me, look, I understand that you didn't like having to do that, and I understand that that you had to do your job, and that it bothered you having to do that. But here's this man right here now. Talk to him. Tell him, what went on, what you had to do. Let him know your story. Just talk to this man. You never know, what a story might be. So I, called that man over there. He ended up coming over there, real nice. Started talking to me, told him how I was sorry. He wasn't mad at me. He understood that I had to do my job. But the whole time that we're sitting there talking, he starts telling me, a little bit about his life, what happened, why he's here, things that have happened in his life. When you start listening to people and things that have happened in other people's life, a good 90%, you realize that you have it good, and that your life, isn't that bad. Maybe it is. Sometimes people's life is worse, but I mean, this guy has had a harder life than me, of stuff that he's saying. Even if it's not true, this guy's stuck on the streets right now here in Amarillo, and, I had a place to go. And so no matter if his story's true or not, he's still doing better than I am. I mean, I'm still doing better than he is, And so I sit there and listen to his story and him telling me, these things through his life. And throughout the story, I told him why I came over here. I said, I almost didn't speak to you because I figured you were still mad at me. I figured that you didn't want to talk to me. I said, but God kept talking to me and telling me that I needed to stop and I needed to talk to you. And, just take time out of my day and time out of my personal life to talk to another human being and to hear their story, to care about them. And so I was talking to this guy, and the whole time I could see it in his eyes that all he wanted, was somebody to listen to him, somebody to understand where he was coming from, somebody to have some sympathy, somebody to care about him as a person, as a human being, and as a soul. People, we often, drive around town, do all these things in life, and we don't realize, the struggles that other people go through and the things that other people have to deal with. We're so content with our lives and so content with just everything. If we have a good life or things are happy, we don't worry about other people. But the fact is, if we worried about, the well-being of other people, then nobody would be hurting in this world, really. I mean, nobody would, not have a place to stay. People would have food. People would have love. People would have all that. But, I mean, us as human beings and as people, we don't take time out of our day anymore, half the time to stop and talk to somebody, to ask them how they're doing, ask them how their day is, ask them, if they need anything, just to help them, to open up a door, something. And after I told that guy that, I almost didn't talk to him, but God was talking to me and telling me that I needed to stop and talk to him, I mean, he started crying. He started crying because all he wanted was somebody to talk to him, to listen to him, to care about him. That's all we all ever want. That's all I want. I know that's what all y'all want. All we ever want is to be loved and cared about. Okay? So, the message is, people, stop. Take time out of your day. That person that's sitting on that corner, when you walk inside that store, that you automatically judge sitting out there, that's somebody's baby. That's somebody's mom, somebody's dad, somebody's son, somebody's daughter. That's a human being. That's a life and a soul. And that's somebody that wants somebody to care about them, somebody to love them. Even if it's just saying hello, even if it's just asking how this person's doing, just listening to their story. Sometimes people just need people to listen. And I'm so glad that this happened tonight and that God brought that to my attention, because after talking to that man, it helped me inside. It helped me realize, this message that I'm, giving to y'all. Sometimes life just really throws you a curveball, man, and you don't know what's going to happen. But, I mean, sometimes these good things happen like this. So, stop, talk to somebody, care about somebody, think about other people besides yourself, and remember that we're all God's people, and all we ever do is want to be loved. That's it.